I told you your favorite tween sitcom characters all existed in the same universe? Yeah, the multiverse theory, but I've got a little bit of a twist, and I want to kind of talk about what if Teen Nick and Disney Channel crossed over. I've been experiencing a lot of disappointments with recent crossovers. We're beyond the golden era of Rugrats Go Wild, Jimmy Timmy Power Hour, and we are in the sad, unfortunate, desolate world of terrible crossovers. So I wanted to kind of band together with some of my friends and figure out what would actually be the dream crossover. Like, what would work so perfectly? What's up, everybody? It's Johnny2000, and today I've got a special video for you. It's safe to say that The Sweet Life of Hannah Montana, it was exciting, but it was prioritizing business and views. But like, what if we just took everything aside and we were only talking about story? So I've got 5 realistic ones picked out for you, where we're talking about crossovers that could have happened on the networks they were originally intended, and then I got some 5 outlandish ones that could never possibly happen in a million years, but the fans would have killed to have. So let's get into it. Number 1, Ned's Declassified and Big Time Rush. Could you imagine? I mean, not only are both shows created by Scott Fellows, but he has just such a specific voice that is told through comedic tone, sound effects, and really cheesy plot lines, but really interesting characters.
Goldman, you're my new tutor? Just think to yourself, H-E-L-I-B, helium, lithium, beryllium. You don't know what a mitochondria is?
I returned to Big Time Rush and Ned's Declassified in the same way, every afternoon after school. They definitely gave me the same vibe, and it would only be natural if these shows crossed over. I don't know if you remember, but Ned's Declassified did have the Fairly Odd Parents on their channel once, which was insane and awesome, but this is like taking a step a little bit further. I want to see the boy band go to middle school, or I want to see the Ned's Declassified cast go to Rock Records. Actually, I don't want to see the Ned's Declassified characters go to the Rock Records. Honestly, like, that show is kind of meant to stay in that school. I want to see Big Time Rush performing at, like, their prom or their school dance, and maybe the tips are more about trying to deal with celebrities, or if it were in the 21st century, deal with the problems of influencing or online popularity, because Big Time Rush is a good extension into the world. I feel like Ned's Declassified was very school life and Big Time Rush is very fame world, but as society evolved, you have influencers going to regular school. You have in school becoming famous. I mean, we're living in such a weird time that didn't exist back then. Not sure if I would trust it because, you know, the movie was kind of bad, but it would still be cool to see. Like, Gustavo and the principal, maybe Gustavo and Mr. Sweeney, Ned and Kendall, Mose and Logan. I don't know why. These are just bringing up some good vibes. Overall, Ned's Declassified Big Time Rush, that would be super fun. Not gonna happen, but imagine if it did. Wouldn't be too hard. Then we got Wizards of Waverly Place and Phil of the Future. So there was a select few of Disney Channel shows with fantastical elements. You had like That's So Raven, Phil of the Future, Wizards. It is only natural that some of the fantastical shows can go into one another. Like, Wizards can't really go into Hannah Montana, even though it did pretty terribly. But if we're focused on not doing a grounded storyline, like, I would love to see Alex Russo somehow get to the future. Maybe Justin or Max ends up stuck in the future and Phil has to help them get back. Phil of the Future wasn't a super popular show, but it was definitely an iconic Disney Channel show.
Show me the mummy!
Quality, and it remains a historical landmark for when they were starting their teen sitcoms. And it's just so natural. Like, why was That So Raven crossing over with Sweet Life when it could be crossing over with Phil of the Future? Like, I don't know. I just think it's a breeding ground for good content. Like, maybe Phil goes into modern-day New York, or the Russos take a trip to wherever he's from, but something with wizarding, magic, and technology would be really good. That's kind of what they did with the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour. It was like science versus magic. This would be just as interesting. It could end in like a full space-time collapse for all I care. Maybe even Alex Russo and Phil could form a relationship. I don't know, that would be random. But they're both also family shows, so it wouldn't be crazy to have the dads meet, the moms meet, and everybody going up against each other. This next one is kind of a guilty pleasure for me, but Hannah Montana and Sunny with a Chance. So Sunny with a Chance is most notably one of the worst Disney Channel shows, while Hannah Montana is one of the best. And I like the idea of Sunny trying to become a comedian, and Hannah Montana already a famous pop star. There should be an episode where Hannah Montana is a guest on So Random, or Sunny Monroe goes to Rico's surf shop. I mean, that's less interesting, but I feel like if we had, like, Miley's character go to LA, because it's not super far from Malibu where she's currently located, we could have Mike Stanley, Lola, they could get into hijinks with Nico and Grady and go around the prop room. Maybe Miley has an issue with being comedically savvy, like they never really covered something like that, or Hannah Montana as a celebrity having to do something out of her comfort zone. I think that would be such a cool crossover. Something about like Tawny maybe and Hannah getting into a big argument, Marshall and Bobby Ray getting into an argument. Like, this is just such a, I don't know, I would really want that to happen. Mixing comedy and music, which Sunny was already trying to do, but it would have been better and more natural if Hannah got involved. Why not have Miley and Demi do something together? I don't know. Next we have Zoe 101 and Drake and Josh, both shows that I've been doing recently as a retrospective, so I feel good to speak on them. Tonally, they're pretty similar. Not only are they both made by the Schneider's Bakery crew, but they carry the same kind of dialects. You know, like they both reference off-putting things. They have characters that are a little more cynical than other shows. And I would just love to see Drake and Josh go to PCA. I don't think Zoe and her friends would go to... I wouldn't see Zoe and her friends going to San Diego. Maybe they could because Logan's dad's rich. But I would much prefer having Drake and Josh somehow making PCA crazy. And at first I was like, this is weird because Drake and Josh has the laugh track and Zoe doesn't. But with the Drake and Josh movie, we are a little bit familiar with how they work in that setting, and it wouldn't be that hard to kind of put them together. Or how funny would it be if Zoe 101 entered Zoe 101 entered the laugh track era? Like, that would be so funny. But then we would see how bad Jamie Lynn Spears really is, so I don't want to do that to anybody. But maybe like a Megan versus Quinn type scenario would be really fun. Drake versus Logan. Like, deeper insights on themselves when they see the worst version of them on Zoe 101. Like, I think that would be fun. Josh and Chase getting into an argument. Oh my gosh, that would be so wacky. I feel like Logan is always given... So yeah, Drake and Josh and Zoe 101, make it happen. Call it Zoe and Josh, or Drake and Zoe. Copyright it. Number 5, I did want to see Victorious and Zoe 101, just because I feel like the arts in Victorious is so heavy that bringing it to PCA would work really well. See, at first I didn't want to put the same show on more than one, but since I'm doing Zoe 101, it's on my mind. And I feel like it would be interesting to take something out of PCA and maybe have Zoe and the crew go to Hollywood Arts for whatever reason. I'm still not sure of that. But the characters are so similar in nature, like Jade and Dana, or the fact that they have Victoria Justice already. I mean, they did it on iCarly. They could do it here. I think it would just be really funny to have Zoe go throughout Hollywood Arts and try to be a theater kid for once, and just not working out for her. Or maybe Lola is trying to find her long-lost twin, and it's Tori. I mean, there's been wackier stuff that happened on Victorious. It's not that weird. And they even had Helen come from Drake and Josh. I don't know why they had to do that. I was thinking Drake and Josh and Victorious, but that would be really weird. I was also thinking iCarly and Victorious, but that happened, and I don't want to see that happen again. Okay, next, let's talk about shows that will never happen, but I really would love it if they did. Zeke and Luther and Ned's Declassified. Sure, 2 separate channels. All of these are going to be 2 unrealistic ones. I would just love to see Zeke and Luther skating into Polk Middle School, or Cookie, Ned, and Mose somehow getting into the world of Zeke and Luther. I know the guy who plays Cookie is in both shows, which I didn't even remember when I wrote this, but it would be even better for that. They are just so tonally similar. I feel like Zeke and Luther does a good job at doing that Scott Fellows comedy act where there is a lot of slapstick and sound effects. Like, I would love that. Like, we have Zeke kind of guiding the camera through his life and how to be a pro skater, which is very similar to how Ned walks the viewer through his survival guides. Like, I feel like that would be a really inspirational show.
I have never had real jobs. The one thing I'm worried about, though, is the job interview thing. Problem solved! Look what Poppy brought!
You know, like, it could be really positive, and maybe having the Ned's Declassified cast get in the way of Zeke and Luther somehow because they're a lot younger. I think that would be really fun. Or Mose tries to be a skater, like that wouldn't be weird, right? Then we have Hannah Montana and Big Time Rush. Not only because they're both one of my favorite music-driven shows, but they would be so funny together. Like Hannah Montana coming to Rock Records, is that not obvious? Or Big Time Rush going to perform in Malibu. And I would love to explore how they deal with fame differently, because both shows tackle it in a different way. Like, Miley is trying to keep it a secret and not let her life depend on that. Meanwhile, she has her two best friends that also keep her secret, and it's kind of about keeping the secret. While Big Time Rush is an open secret, where these guys are just trying to deal with their double life as it is. And I think Miley would have a lot to learn from that, and I think they would have a lot of respect for Miley for what she does if they found out her secret. Oh gosh, but that would be too exciting. Too exciting. But like Emily Osmond, Mitchell Musso, if they met like Logan, Carlos, like I think it would be really fun. And maybe even Roxy versus Gustavo, or Gustavo versus Billy Ray. Oh gosh, there would be so many great scenes if that were possible. But I guess we're dreaming a little too hard now. Then I think Wizards of Waverly Place should be with like any of these shows. Like, you could justify Wizards just casually being in any of them. I think it would be really off-putting though to have them in Ned's. I think it'd be really interesting to find them in Hollywood Arts, like with the Victorious crew, kind of see how wacky they are and maybe even put a spell on them, fix their series, I don't know. Alex Russo versus Tori Vega, interesting to me. Sorry. Then Sweet Life and iCarly. I think this would be cool because it could be like a web show battle, because they have that whole London Tipton's web show with Brenda Song like having her Yay Me and their guest stars. Like, they've had some really good episodes with that, and I would love to see iCarly, the cast, coming to the Tipton to be involved in that web show. Or maybe just the other way around, the London Tipton going to iCarly. But honestly, I feel like the Tipton is kind of a mainstay for Sweet Life. Like, when you take them out of it, it's not as exciting. And having Zach and Cody kind of be a problem for the iCarly crew, like, that would be really interesting. I'd love to see them on an episode of iCarly. Spencer versus Mr. Mosby, that is a feature film I would pay for. Now this one, bear with me, True Jackson VP and That's So Raven. At first I was like, it's weird to put the two black-led shows next to each other because it seems like, oh, they can't intersect with the other shows. They definitely can, but what ties these two shows together? The fashion industry. Raven's in the fashion industry. True Jackson VP is like, True Jackson is up here. Like, imagine Raven Baxter having to find a 16-year-old CEO. I think that would do a lot for her confidence in a negative way, and just seeing them argue with each other would be so funny. They're both comedic geniuses and would really make it work well. It's like a workplace comedy versus the family life would definitely add a lot to it. I want to see Raven trying to walk down the True Jackson runway. I want to see Raven have a vision about True Jackson that she doesn't like her, but she needs to help her with something. Maybe like a fashion show gone wrong, or something that only she could help. And maybe she accidentally teams up with Amanda, True Jackson's enemy, not knowing that she's the bad guy. Like, that would be cool. Which of these crossovers, though, would you actually deal with? Would you deal with any of the practical ones or the impractical ones? I think we can't get any worse than I Party with Victorious, Jellystone, or a lot of the Sweet Life on Deck with Hannah Montana and True Jackson, The Future, and Amanda, and I don't know. It would be fun. But, like, which ones do you guys think are worth seeing? Drop your dream or nightmare scenario below, because I only scratched the surface, but I was just really interested in starting an internet argument about what could possibly be. There are so many possibilities with these shows. But I don't know if Dean, Nick, and Disney Channel would ever get together in a million years. But you know what? Crazier stuff has happened before. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting Johnny 2000. I really love making these videos for you guys. And not to be cross-promotional, but check out Heartbreak Hospital. It's my musical. Use some of the music in this video right here. Not usually going to plug my stuff, but I think it would be necessary. But yeah, until next time, check out Johnny 2000. Thank you and have a great day.